Approach, prisoner. Show yourself, child.
Alrighty, greetings adventurers, it is I, Les Grumbles, and I'm here with a little, hopefully, useful beginner's guide, how to just get yourself started, get a foothold on Arrakis, and begin your journey. I'm going to put some timestamps in, so if you want to skip over certain parts, for example, the character creation, and some of the intro scenes and tutorial and whatnot, that should be easy enough to do. And yeah, we're going to create a character here, called Oolon Jess, who some of those who've watched some of my roleplay on Conan in the past might recognize the character. We're going to have a little bit of fun here. But this will be predominantly just beginner-friendly, how to get yourself started, as I said, and not too much roleplay. We'll see how much I can hold up to that promise. Right, let's just put this fella together. He's going to be a little bit on the small side. He can have a peculiarly long neck. I go, well, no, that's fine. All right. But yes, he's very scrawny. We're going to go with this whole, I guess, what's become synonymous Harkonnen kind of look. And yeah, we're going to go in that general direction. I think I had a quick look earlier at some of these. He's an older gentleman. Well, he's not a gentleman at all. And all of these things, I think I pretty much whipped these over to the left. Yes, make him look very gaunt and tired and whatnot. We want high cheekbones. He's an elf. But there you go. Let's see, what does that look like? I think that's pretty good. Okay. Hairstyle, we're going to go with a bald eye. I wish there were a few more options, but that's what we got. We're going to go with white hair. This particular character, we're going to go with the craziest eyebrows we can find, albeit the eyebrow color is going to make them almost invisible. We might have to go with this grey color so that we've got something to giggle about. I don't know. Yeah, okay, let's go. I want to go with the white. That fits the character. Okay, eyebrow. So beard style. I think there is. Where's this one? It's kind of the silliest little one I can find. Again, I wish I had more options. The character in Conan looked very different, but of course it's a different world. So beard color. We want to go nice and white again there, reflecting his age and the torrid time of a life he's had. Okay, face tattoo. I like this one for him. And of course, you know, take your time. Do it as you prefer. Slightly older tattoo, but faded out. Yes, okay. Head scarring. Now, Oolon is not a great fighter. So you can scroll wheel here in and out, as you can see. So if you want to look for a little bit more detail, easily done. I think that's good. Scarring depth should be quite nasty. I think he's been slapped about a little bit in his life. And then eye makeup. Well, we need a little bit of green because he's very. Yeah, there we go. That darker. I like that. Okay. Now, eye color. I've missed. I wanted to change eye color. I didn't see eye color. Here's eye color. There we go. Green as well, because he's a follower of Set, although he doesn't realize it. We'll go with emerald. I like that. Emerald green. Yes. Okay. I think we're done with the character creation. On with the intro. Name Oolon. Yes. Huzzah. You have played through the opening tutorial sequence. Would you like to skip it now? No. Let's give you the whole start. Unlock research menu. So Dune Awakening features a guided journey that locks the research menu until certain steps are completed. Advanced survival players may prefer to unlock the research menu from the beginning. Whilst I could do that, I'm going to give you the full beginner first time playing experience. Accept this character. Yes, please. Let's go. Ulan, yes.
Have they told you what I am?
Yes.
Then I will sift your words for lies. Let's begin. Where were you born?
I am going to choose Caladan.
The world of water.
Yes.
Homeworld of the Atreides.
Yes.
The order of the Imperium is rooted in the Farfaluches. A place
Now-
for every man, and every man in his place. Where is your place?
What these give you are little smidges of not so much lore, but just dialogue options. And the other one gave you an emote choice that was unique. So, yeah, you can choose pretty much anything you want. In terms of deep impact on the game, I think the impact here is negligible. So I'm going to go with
Did
this
you give
nobility.
bad advice, or make a bad deal? To be close to power is to walk the knife's edge. You had a mentor in your youth, trained by one of the schools. Who was your mentor?
Now, this one is rather important. I have a personal preference of the Bene Gesserit Acolyte, which I'm going to choose here. I really like their early game skills. It helps me a lot. I like to do a lot of melee combat, and having the ability to use the voice to compel or stop things like that is very, very beneficial. If you, sorry, I should say, you can learn all of these and more within the game. These are the 4 you get to choose from the start. There's a 5th one, the planetologist, that we'll pick up fairly early on. If you want to learn Bene Gesserit or Swordmaster, please note that you can only pick these up quite a bit later on in the sort of mid to late game direction. In terms of finding the people. Theoretically, you could go to locations and perhaps meet these people you need to, the tutors, but the reality is that choosing Bene Gesserit or Swordmaster now, if you're really keen on those particular sets of abilities and skills, or just like the sound of it, is a good option because it'll save you having to wait a long time to pick up those skills later on in the game. The Trooper is accessible very early on in the starter zone, where you can fulfill a fairly lengthy mission. It doesn't take a lot of time, but it's a fair bit of traveling to unlock the trooper skills. So that one's the easiest one to acquire of this list. Other than that, just go with read these and take whatever picks your fancy, really. I'm going to go Bene Gesserit Acolyte.
Yes, I have heard of our sisters giving training outside of the chapter house. It is frowned upon. The test is almost complete. Have you spoken truth?
Okay, so here you can see on the top left your choices: Caladan, Na Familia, and Bene Gesserit. And then here the choices: I have spoken the truth, or I wish to recant, is basically an option to say, yeah, I'm happy with that, let's move on, or no, I made a mistake, I want to go back and change something. All right. I'm going to show you this actually. I'm going to go back and I'm going to choose Gedi Prime as my birthplace.
A toxic place.
That gives
and the
me
Harkonnens prefer it that way.
different
Profit above all.
dialogue options.
The order of the Imperium is rooted in the Farfaluches. A place for every man.
I will still
and
choose
every man
Na
in his-
Familia.
Did you give bad advice or make a bad deal? You had a
I will
mentor
choose
in
Bene
your-
Gesserit
Yes,
again,
the test
and then
is
I will say I've
almost
chosen the
complete.
truth.
Come here.
Here we go.
Kneel.
Scary lady.
Put your hand in the box. I hold at your neck the Gomjabar, the high-handed enemy. Don't pull away or you will die. Great plots are afoot in the Imperium, and the currents of intrigue run deeply. Arrakis is the key, and the Fremen are missing. You will go to Arrakis as our agent, prisoner. You have one task. Find the Fremen. Wake the sleeper. Everything depends on this. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. You speak truth. But here is the rest of it. There is only one rule. Keep your hand in the box and live. Withdraw it and die. An animal would gnaw off its own hand to escape the pain. And we can only be served by humans. Find the Fremen. Wake the sleeper. You will know when it is done.
Quite the epic beginning. Here we are on the prison ship. And you get a feel for the scale that we're talking about here. Because that is a big prison ship. So see what we just came out of. Arrakis awaits. Here we go. Who's this chappie? That looks familiar. Biscuit. Pretty efficient and effective rocket system, though. What of all the prisoners? Right, again, we're playing through the tutorial here. If you have done this or don't wish to see it, use the timestamps to skip ahead. Crikey.
You're wrong. It's just an awful. No, not the Al-Shaheed Ahadi. No, Arista said it was just a dream. I agree, but she is almost Sayadina.
He appears to have saved us, pulled us from the wreckage. Right. Glorious. It is a beautiful and very immersive game. And here we go. We're at the start. Nothing but Fremen corpses, I imagine. All around us. We're pretty beat up. Suspiciously like a worm. Swallowing everything. Alright, here is honoring the dead, perhaps? Right, we're following the little bat. And here, look, a frem kit. Our first glimmer of hope in surviving. B, to open the crafting menu. Craft a scrap knife. Now, you can click craft here. Craft an amount, which will give you a prompt box, or the maximum available. You can also double click on the item on the left. If you're using the controller, it can be a bit fiddly. You've got to move the virtual mouse cursor across, hover on an item, click on it once, so you've definitely got it selected, and then go from there. Alright, we now have a knife. Press 1 on our loadout at the bottom right of the screen to select the knife. Draw it out. Cut that away, and that gives us micro sandwich fabric, something that we'll become familiar with. Finding water. You need to hydrate. You can partially replenish your hydration levels by drinking dew from dew flowers. Press and hold E. Got it. Alright, you can see on the bottom left that's given us one of the 3 bars worth of hydration. And that is the most we can get from drinking directly from flowers. More about that as we continue. Alright, more micro sandwich. Follow the path down. I think that would be too far to climb. Alright, we are slightly injured. Harvest fiber by pressing E. There we go. Open crafting menu with B, and then make some heal kits. I'm just going to hit max because we're going to be using those. Top tip: these heal kits, level 1, they look like bandages. They will keep you going for quite a long time in this game, so do not worry about the bigger heal kits. I'm also going to put this on my hotbar slot 8 because that's what I'm used to for the heal. Alright, now it's going to teach us to climb. Climbing terrain and structures can help you explore new areas or reach a vantage point. Climbing will drain your stamina. Stamina is the green bar on the bottom left. Space bar, hold to forward attach. Left control to release. So jump. And there we go. Now you can hit spacebar again and he'll do a little hop up. There we go. Grabbing all this fiber as we go up, because again that will allow us to make bandages and some other things too. Alright, grab all of your fiber and we press onwards. Now, let us see. Can we hydrate? Not yet. It says cannot drink. That means that although we're slightly below that first third bar, that's a mouthful, isn't it? We're not dehydrated enough that we're desperate to drink from the flowers. And here we go out into the next part of the tutorial. And there is the wreckage of the prison ship we were aboard. Ah,
So then,
our rescuer, Xantara.
you're not quite dead. Now you will know a thing that few but the Fremen have seen. For many, the last thing they saw before they were slaughtered.
This looks like trouble. They have trapped us.
Come, let us speak of our escape. Twin comets in the sky, a rebirth from fire and death, and a Sardaukar net closing around us. Your survival heralds interesting times, off-worlder.
Right, at this point, there are multiple dialogue options, as you can see. I'm going to leave those for you to go through at your leisure. That way I'm not spoiling anything for those that want to go deeper into the lore. We're going to just press on for the sake of the little tutorial.
There's a way through the barricade. if you do as I say.
Tell me what to do.
We're gonna need one of their ornithopters. Their protocol is to remain aloft and kill anything that moves from above.
How do we get one down?
That's where you come in.
Ah.
If you can slip back onto the Proteus and locate the command module, you can activate the captain's personal emergency transmitter. He's a noble. They're not allowed to let him die. Leave the rest to me.
All right. Enter the ship, find the captain, activate the transmitter. Anything else?
Yeah. Take this Communinet transceiver. It's essential for planetary communication. Now go, and be quick. The Mother Storm is upon us.
Very good. All right. Sunstroke.
Stick to the shadows,
time.
Offworlder. The heat of the sun is deadly to the unprepared.
Alright, spending time in the sun will fill up the sunstroke bar. Once filled, you will be affected by sunstroke, which increases dehydration rate. To avoid and remove sunstroke, stick to the shadows. So you can see that bar crawling across the screen there from left to right. Then it fades away once we're completely safe and out of it again. Alright, I'm continuing to gather some fiber. We approach the ship.
The
Many
guards have
dead.
sealed themselves inside. Search the prisoners for a cut array. And Offworlder, be careful.
Alright, the bodies of downed enemies can hold vital tools, resources and components. Loot the cut array and power pack from the body and equip it. Now, you can go up to a body, you can see what it's offering right there in front of you. You can press spacebar to pick up one item at a time, or you can press E to interact and bring it up. Here you see the corpse box you're looking at, and the backpack is important when you're getting familiar with the inventory system to pay attention to what's being highlighted and therefore shown here and here. Or you can hold the E key down, as I've done there, and pick up both of the items all at once, which is a pretty common way of going about doing it. Now, I just need to quickly check one setting. Boop. Okay, I need to enable the streamer mode because whilst this is a VOD, I nevertheless don't want to get any music played that I'm not licensed to include in my video.
You'll need it for harvesting resources. Using it to cut open ships is an added benefit.
Alright, so it has two functions. Right click and hold for analysis mode, like so. That will then show up a weak spot for you to optimally cut with the laser. Left mouse click, left click and hold, and then move your pointer around on the screen until you've covered up most of that line. Alright, moving on board. Same again, right click and hold to do the analysis. Cut. There we go. And we'll get more into cut arrays and things as we proceed.
The captain's room is blocked by a pentashield. You'll need a pentashield key to pass through. See if there's another way forward.
Alright. Ah, look. A door which could be cut. So again, take the cutlery out with number 2. Right click and hold. Laser away these two weak spots. Job done.
Ready your weapon.
Combat.
The guards won't hesitate. Neither should you.
Light attack. Left mouse button to light attack. There we go. That one's down. Oh, hello. Parrying. Right click to parry. Hold right click to block.
Parry your opponents just as their strikes will hit you. This should stagger them, giving you a window of opportunity.
Come on then. Haha. Come on. Oopsie, I got the timing wrong. Haha. And again. Oh dear. Come on, come at me. Haha, gotcha. There we go. Grab that bandage. Bandage? Bandage? Alright, have a look in here. Always worth looking around, see if you've missed any loot. Okay, in we go. Now, let's use a bandage, because we're a little beat up. And on we go. Knife out. Alright. Left alt dash with the direction to break out of a staggered state. Some attacks can cause you to be staggered. Dash in any direction to snap out of the stagger quickly. Direction plus dash to break out of a staggered state. Alright, in this case, we have been staggered by the electric shock on the floor. There we go. Water discipline. Having your hydration level above 1/3 will give you a bonus to your maximum stamina, which is further increased above 2/3. When your hydration is below 1/3, the bonus to your maximum stamina is removed. When it is empty, you become dehydrated and you will start to lose health until you hydrate again. Alright. Very important to stay hydrated in this game. Very, very important. Hold to slow blade attack a staggered enemy. So, heavy and slow blade attacks. Heavy attacks are slow, break block, and cause stagger if they land. Shields stop most incoming melee attacks and projectiles. To penetrate a shield, first stagger the target and then use a heavy attack or a slow blade attack. Let's go.
A swift attack can force your enemy off balance.
Boom.
But only a slow blade penetrates a shield.
And you see there where it does the oopsie, bad timing. So heavy attack, one, caused them to stagger back a little, and then the second time I held, it made an attack which went through their shield with the slow blade. Very, very important to learn that. Worth practicing. Pretty easy to master here in the tutorial. But you will utilize that a lot.
Once you equip it, you can pass through the shield. Get to the captain and activate that transmitter. I'll be there soon.
Alright. Pentashield, pick up the wristband key. Now, worth noting this because these wristbands, these keys will appear in lots of the, let's call them dungeons, testing laboratories and so forth, and they will be important to get through such doors. There will be different levels of them for different access types. Just keep an eye out for those. If you find yourself stuck behind a pentashield door with a red diamond or shape in the middle, it means that you don't have access to pass through and you need to look for a key. So keep looking around the area.
We only need the leader.
Him and his rocket launcher again. He got him. Both of them. Amazing cinematics. Alright, there's always a little bit of optimization needed on these.
Woodland scum. Ivits jo man tukta lasto breath ada hung unvalo arsu.
What did you say about my mother?
De dia abada.
I know. That's why I brought you here.
Not for the faint-of-hearted. Nasty cut that. Want to get that seed too, mate?
The Thopter will have the codes to get us through the barrier. Ever fly an ornithopter? Simple enough. But my leg is bad and I won't be able to work the pedals.
On the one hand, the good news is we will be able to get our hands on ornithopters in the game. I have one on another main character I'm playing. The not so good news, it's a long way off.
There's too many.
You can get there, I assure you.
They won't follow.
Aha, playing chicken with the storm, eh? What could possibly go wrong? Alright.
Get up, Off-Worlder. I couldn't wait for you. But now you need to run. The sandworm is coming.
Oh dear.
Run! Now!
I will run over here. Uh-oh. Here comes Wormy Worm. My goodness. Run, Oolon, run! Oh dear. I'm running for my life. Alright. Whew.
You made it, Off-Worlder. Catch your breath. When the
Okay.
Thopter went down, the storm took us far off course. My leg is bad. I need to lay low and treat it before it gets worse. But fear not, Off-Worlder. Noctua can cover the ground between us with little effort. She will be my eye in the sky so I can continue to offer my sage advice and keep you on this side of the grave. Figure out how to craft yourself some clothing. That Mauler outfit won't cut it out here.
All right, here we go. So, we are now beginning the journey steps. Firstly, we need to research. So we press Y to open the research menu. Essentially, you don't have to remember all of the different keys. If you remember just I or Tab to open your inventory, you can access each. In fact, Tab, I think, takes you to the last subsection you had open. You can access these easily with just a click or moving your virtual cursor around. Or I believe probably the bumper keys if you're using the controller. Research. Now, because we've chosen to do this in the journey way, as is befitting of a first-time player, you will be guided through each of these steps. It's important to complete the main research journey steps at each opportunity because they will unlock the next steps as we proceed. More on that when we get to it. Here we just click on research, so spacebar, or we can click with the mouse button. It brings up a list of what you're going to unlock. You can then confirm and cancel, so you get an opportunity to, if you misclicked, to avoid spending your points on something you didn't mean to. Okay, craft a full set of makeshift clothing. So B to open the crafting menu. Here you have recommended, schematics, or essentials as they're calling it. And then you have these subcategories here, construction, combat, and so forth. For now, we can just use essentials, and we're going to make this full set of clothing here. So a jacket, shoes, pants, gloves, and a hood. We have just enough. Once these are crafted, we can press I for inventory. We can either drag and drop them into the appropriate box, or just double click and they will swap in and swap out respectively. Just wait for this hood to be completed.
The War of Assassins has
There,
left
the hood
the
went
breeze
straight onto
scattered
the
all
slot
over
because there
this
was nothing
sector.
to replace. You weren't wearing the hood
Salvage
already.
metal from the wreckage with your cutlery and use it to make a Mauler pistol and darts. Don't let the Imperial disdain for ranged weapons lead you astray. Very few people are foolhardy enough to use shields this deep in the sands, and that is to your advantage.
All right, here we have a copper ore. We don't need copper right just yet. There's a fuel cell under the ground there. Fade inactive HUD. So we have the fading HUD, the default, I believe, switched on. Your HUD fades and hides over time when your character status. View the character status to bring it back. Hold T to bring up the status, or just press T once for a quick view, like this. Shield, power, suspense, heat protection. On the left you can see our health, the red bar, our energy from our power cell is the yellow bar, and the green bar is our stamina, of course. The blue vertical bar is your water levels, including the bars at the 1/3 and 2/3 marker that give you your stamina buffs. In the top right hand corner, actually I will press T longer just to keep that on screen, I think. Oh, maybe not. You can see the region that you're in, Hagga Basin South. You can see the current heat level, 0, radiation level of 0, and you can see a little like a half sundial almost that will move through different phases And when it is in the blue zones, you'll be able to harvest some water more efficiently, but more on that much later when we get to that stage. For now, it has asked us to take our cut array, find scraps of metal like this. Whenever you see this symbol, it means you need to use the cut array. You'll see the same symbol here on the copper ore and here on a larger chunk of scrap metal. So we right click and hold to scan or to analyze. We cut along the mark and we picked up a bunch of salvage. We need to gather 65. Here's some more fiber, so I'm going to gather that as well. Over there is a buggy vehicle, which you can build in sort of the early mid-game. However, when you find a crashed one like this, you will be able to cut it up to get some spare parts from it, presumably also some scrap metal. Let us cut it up. I don't remember exactly what it's going to give us, but just to show you the process, we scan it, it gives us a bar to hit, we scan it again, it gives us another. So it's like almost a mini game. You can just keep doing this. Yes, this is giving us plenty of scrap metal and getting us to the next step. Now, remember the sunstroke that we got taught about in the tutorial? The bar is already halfway across the screen there, left to right. So we're going to get back into some shade out of the sun. We have very little sun protection in this scrappy outfit that we've made for ourselves. So it is very important to keep an eye on that sun level, as even if we find plants that we can hydrate from, we're only going to be able to get that first bar, the very minimum amount of hydration, if you recall, and therefore we're going to have problems with our stamina as things go on. So our top tip for new players is make the most of your starting hydration when you get through the tutorial, because it's the last time you'll be that hydrated for a little while. And to be honest, the early game hydration and finding water is it tests you. Let's put it that way. Not necessarily super negative or anything, but it's definitely something that you're going to become very familiar with, being dehydrated and having to stop whatever else you're doing and be like, oh, I need to go and find some water. Now, we found a little cave here, a little Fremen place, but it's actually full of scavengers, nasty folks. So we're going to cut our way in to get some more of that micro sandwich fabric. Usually you will find people in here. In this particular one, it seems empty so far. Here is a little box. You're going to get very familiar with this container. Grab everything in there. Whenever you see those containers, it's usually the good stuff that you want that's going to help you progress and unlock further items. Now, the game is asking us to research... Ah, there's a bomb. Did you hear that? Tick, 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 tick. That is a warning that there is a mine that we have triggered. There's another one. And move away. So that explains why there was nobody hiding in this cave. They were trying to kill us. Ah! People! Right. So we're going to reuse some of our training from the tutorial mission. A heavy blow there. This guy's shooting us. Stabby stab. Down they go. Okay, marvellous. Now, grab all that loot. It's given us some ammo for a Mauler pistol, or light darts actually, from several different weapons. And here, there's a golden chest. If you go into dungeons and things, you're always going to be looking for these chests along the way. This one happens to contain a miscellaneous contract item, salvage junket. Pick up all the scrap we've gathered so far and haul it over to Griffin's Reach trade post. Get the payment from the contracts board as usual. Mia Charkey is the trader there. He acts like he's too good to deal with us, but he buys our scrap anyway. Typical Harkonnen. Interesting. All right. So we have picked up a contract. Let's get back out of the sun again for a moment. You can press J to look at your journey steps. Here, getting equipped. This is the one we're currently tracking. Get your first ranged weapon. So we're going to make that momentarily. But across here, you've also got your contracts, codex, for looking up the lore you've learned, and tutorial items. If you need to go back over anything that you've missed out on, you can check in here. So J for journal, or journey rather. Bring that up. You can also get to it from any of these other subsections here. And then you've got your main journey steps and your individual quests, each of which you can track and untrack. And on the left side of the screen, you will see we have a journey in purple, getting equipped, and we have a blue contract. Obviously, if you have one or the other degree of color blindness. That might be a little bit trickier, but essentially the top left section is your journey, your main mission and objective, and your quests, or side quests as you might like to think of them, contracts, are listed as the second item underneath, and you'll have one of each respectively shown on the screen at any time, typically. Okay, so a research menu. It wants us to unlock the Mauler pistol, so we will press spacebar. That unlocks the pistol and light darts as an ammunition type. It would then like us to craft them, so we're going to make a Mauler pistol, and we're going to make, let's say, 3 sets of darts. All right, and now when we press 3, it's automatically equipped that weapon into our first available slot. Also in here, your loadout screen will show your alignment to one of the great houses, Atreides or Harkonnen. That's something for later on. But in the middle, you have a little dial that shows your readout. Number 1, top center. So that's your hotbar key 1, 2, 3, etc. All the way around to this one, which is your 8th slot, which is where I typically have my bandages. I've just noticed that we've run out of bandages. So we're going to make 3 bandages, and we're going to put them back on our 8th slot. There we go. We have a power pack here, improvised power pack that we got from the tutorial. The power packs will become quite an important item as you proceed through the game. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to learn early on, you have a limited number of slots that you can carry items with. A little bit more than that as we progress. And you have a maximum weight you can carry. Listed here currently we're at 45V, and it goes to 175. As far as I know so far in the game, there is no way of extending that further. So if you either run out of slots from different types of items or carry 175 weight, that's your limit. So what we're going to learn here early on, a very important beginner tip, is highlight items, press X to drop them, or whatever the equivalent is for your controller, and drop for example, this old clothing. We simply don't need it anymore, and the game will wash that away with time. Alright, so we have a weapon equipped, R to reload, familiar in most games, and then right click and hold to aim more accurately, and left click to fire, like so. Gather some more fiber. Here is some more water plants, but we can't take anything from them yet. Okay, now the game is asking us to craft a respawn beacon. So we shall firstly research it. Spacebar twice or clicking the button. Then we shall craft one, like so. It will then auto-magically go into inventory slot 4, because that's the one open. We will press number 4. We will look for a space. We will place it on the ground.
But the War of Assassins and the Sardaukar pogrom put an end to that. Now the sector is crawling with scavengers.
You need to get out of the sun again.
Scraps of Imperium technology left in the wake of this
always get out of the sun.
Noble war. But that's to your advantage, off-worlder. Allow them to do the hard work of gathering the salvage, and then take it from them.
All right. They now want us to look for more of these scavengers. So it says research binoculars. So we research the binoculars. Then we, of course, craft the binoculars. So double click. That will have gone into slot 4. And we're now looking for a scavenger camp, as it says on the right-hand side. Press number 4 to bring up the binoculars. And yeah, we need to go and look for a camp. Now, there was the one up there that we just fought at. There we go. Scout for a scavenger camp using binoculars. Job done. So even though we went through there, go to the scavenger camp, use your ability, and kill the scavengers. Now, clearly we just killed those ones. They will respawn in fairly quickly. The respawns in this game for resources and camps is fairly short. I think for main places it's something like 40 minutes, but feel free to correct me in the comments. In any case, we're going to move on and look for the next camp. There we go. There's one over there. You can left click to place a marker down. That way you can see your distance from it. That might be helpful if you're using, for example, ranged weapons, like this Mauler pistol. We're going to bandage ourselves because my health bar is quite low. In fact, we're going to bandage ourselves twice just to make sure we're at full health. And it wants us to use our abilities. Now, I've started with Bene Gesserit. Our skills are listed here. and on the Q hotkey, I have this one, Compel. And this ability uses the voice of the Bene Gesserit teaching and compels an enemy within range who you successfully reach with that ability to run towards you in a bit of a dazed and confused state. We will see that momentarily. We also have a skill point to unlock an additional ability. I'm going to unlock this one called Bindu Sprint by hovering over it and holding down spacebar to learn it. And there. It automatically equips into the next available hotkey slot C for abilities. And these are techniques which are typically buffs or amplifiers to your skills. As you learn them, they will, these are these hexagonal shapes here, and they will slot into there. You can have 3 of those and eventually 3 of those active. We're not going to worry too much about that right now. Just know for now you can have 2 abilities slotted in, and I've got the Compel and Bindu Sprint, which is very handy for crossing distances. All right. And again, you can go into the tutorials at any time. So if I, by going to Journey and then Tutorial tab, if I rush through any of these things too quick for you, or you just want to have a reminder at any point, that's where you can find that information. All right, so we're going to attack this camp over here. We're going to walk across this little bit of sand. And then we're going to do some orientation in a minute once we have taken these folks here out. Now, if I right click and hold there, you can see the crosshair comes a little bit tighter, and you can see now that it gives you these 4 little dashes almost in a circle, and that means that that person is in range of my weapon and could be hit and affected by it. So we're going to try and shoot this person in the back of the head. We're going to miss. Here they come. They're going to come around the corner. Okay, there we go. And left alt just to dodge out of the way. Easy kill. Nothing more to do right there, right now. Okay, here's one of these boxes. So again, this is your early training. Look out for these kinds of boxes. Here's some scrap and some fuel cells. Might as well grab that free loot as we go. Now, it said use your ability. So I failed on that one. There's another camp just over there. So we're going to go over there and have a look and use our ability. So we're going to come over here. In fact, we'll press C to do our Bindu Sprint, which you can press C again to cancel it.
Off-worlder, but nothing can truly prepare you for what the desert has in store. Hone your skills and harden yourself to the violence you must do to survive. Remember,
all right,
Arrakis will sharpen you.
Oopsie.
Or kill you.
Okay, now we're going to use Compel. So move towards them, looking at them at the cursor point, press Q, and here he comes running over here like a good boy, and we're going to just stab him in the stomach with heavy stabs. Nope. Gotcha. All right, I will take your fiber, thank you. I will take 7 light darts from your pockets, thank you. We'll come into the camp. These camps typically have 2 people in them, these early ones. Sometimes only 1. Rarely you'll find more than that. But what I will say, if we look through the binoculars, be very careful, because there are these other points of interest like that, which you can get some intel points for. More on that soon. However, you will face quite the fight early on. Just sheerly the numbers game will be heavily against you. So be careful taking on more than you can chew, as it were. Okay, it wants us to open the skills menu and have a look. Before we do that, I'm going to give you 2 little pointers here as we look at that beautiful moon over there too. That flying ship there is a Sardaukar patrol. No bueno. Not good. Do not get caught within the spotlight of that flying ship. Maybe we'll run into it still, you never know. You will hear them when they're typically fairly close. They have these kind of foghorn sounding, these weird like War of the Worlds, like kind of noise. If they catch you in that, they will put a like a suspensor field around you. You won't be able to move. They will drop a bunch of troops down armed with melee and ranged weapons, and they will proceed to kick you sharply in the shins a lot, and you will probably lose the fight early on. So if you like a good fight and you're particularly adept at combat, go for it. But my advice is to avoid those. The other thing for orientation that's very important, you will see wherever you spawn in, if we look at the map, this is Hagga Basin South. So the whole place is Hagga Basin, and this is the South region, starter zone. We will be looking for, amongst other things, some of the key points of interest. One of them being the Griffin's Reach trade station. That is the Griffin's Reach trade station. So it's a big kind of oblong monolith shaped building with spotlights coming off of it. Easy to spot in the nighttime. Fairly easy to spot in the daytime, but much easier in night. Oh, you can hear the noise of the Sardaukar as they're not too far away. So we want to get over there. Now, of course, what you don't want to be doing is running across the open sand for too long, because guess what? There are giant sandworms in this game, and you will get gobbled up. More on that as and when it happens. But we do want to be sort of in the area of that, not necessarily right on top of it, but it's your choice. But my strong recommendation for new players is to build somewhere in that kind of region, and we'll open that up soon when we get to it. Let's have a look now. Go back to flowing the tutorial. Right, we've had a look at our skills menu. We've unlocked an additional skill. We have a point to spend.
Storms tear flesh from bone and shred metal like paper.
All right.
Unless you'd like to share a cave with some scavengers, your best bet is to build your own shelter.
Okay.
Build a construction tool and place out a sub-fief console. You'll be claiming a portion of the planet's surface for your very own, or rather borrowing it from the Emperor. I'm a little hazy on the specifics.
Okay, so now we've reached the point where we're going to build a first bit of shelter, because the daytime and dehydration and the storms will kill you quite rapidly. So you'll want to have shelter from said storms. You can gain shelter by being under the cover of some rock outcroppings, for example, up here, potentially. Again, if you press T, just tap it, on the bottom left of the screen, you will see your current shelter status. Those familiar with survival games, or Conan in particular, will recognize the system. Here I am fully unsheltered. If the storm blew through, I would be ripped to shreds very, very quickly and likely perish and have to respawn somewhere. If I come up under here, I gain the status enclosed. That means I'm completely covered and completely safe from the storm. So worst case, I could wait the storm out under there. Of course, we're next to that camp, so could be a danger of that patrol coming around the corner and getting you into a fight. So the game now wants us to build some shelter and some shielding for that shelter. So we also, the other tip I would give you in terms of building is, while we gather some granite here, this is your communal garden building material. You don't have to gather like lots of different types for just the building itself. It's just granite, and off you go. There are some other materials later on, but we're not going to worry about that again in the beginner's guide. So we're going to go around and we're going to scan a few of these rocks, chop them up with the cut array until we have enough to meet the demands of the tutorial. These rocks are fairly plentiful, but yes, what we want to be doing is, broadly speaking, heading in or near to the general direction of that building over there, the Griffin's Reach trade post. Most of the trade posts look similar to that, so they're fairly easy to find in each of the regions where there is one placed. As I said, especially at night time. So we're going to gather the resources we need. Let's see. There we go. We have the granite. That's now lit up. Now we need to find some scrap metal. There's a big chunk of scrap metal over there. Lovely. Scan that. Run the laser along it, the cut array. Job done. Great. Research unlocked. New schematic 1 available. So, research basic construction kit. There we go. Boom. Craft construction tool. Boom. There we go. Construct or interact with what's called a sub-thief. What is a sub-thief? It's not someone who's going to steal your submarine. It is the device that is used to shield or to set a perimeter around your building location. So this game works on kind of cubes within which you can build. Let's grab a few more materials here. And then we're going to just move across. Actually, we could have a little fight over here. Get ourselves a little bit more loot. A little bit more experience. Let's go.
Reveal yourself.
Come to me. Yes, you are compelled. The power of Ulon compels you. I will stab you in your shins. Thrice, and you will die. Alright, bit of loot. Bit more loot. Get the box for the funky stuff. There we go. So again, if the storm came through now, we could take shelter under such an outcropping. Again, just be careful and make sure that your status is at the minimum sheltered. The best one would be enclosed, but if you can at least get the status sheltered, you are in good standing. There we go, we leveled up again. So I would like to go over to that rock over there. I'm going to have a look at the map. And this kind of thing is a sort of traversable distance on foot. This one's a bit of a stretch, but doable. This one's easy enough. So what you want to do, if you want to get over here, and you can see that we have a delivery contract over there, which is presumably at the trading point. What you need to do is hop from rock to rock. You know, if you've seen the film or watched the books, watch the books or read the film, you'll know what I'm on about. This is quite the stretch of sand. We have, as a Bene Gesserit, our Bindu sprint. So I'm going to invoke that. Press the button C. We sprint across. We ran out of stamina halfway, but toggle with left shift to run. Toggle it again by left shifting back to a kind of jog, if you prefer, or if you run out of stamina. And we made it across that stretch of sand with no danger from the worm. Alright, so we're going to move a little bit towards that contract. You can see 700 meters away. We're going to move in that general direction because building near to... Oh, we're parched. There we go. It's a good opportunity to show you. So you heard that noise. It's a very subtle one. That warns us that we are parched, that we are losing hydration, and we're at the point where we need to drink again. There we go. We have reached our due limit. We can only drink up to that first bar from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to head in the general direction. We're definitely not going to go in that place because we're going to get slaughtered. But we're going to head in the general direction northeast towards the trade post because we want to build somewhere near that. And we can use our compass for this at the top center of the screen. You can see here northeast, east. On the compass you will also see your currently tracked contract or main mission objective. Here are some other showing us that there's some encampments over there. Here it says, if we hover the little arrow that points down on the top of the compass over it, it says it's that direction, 553 meters, and the location is above us. Now that doesn't tell us whether it's 50 meters above us, 500 meters above us, or otherwise. But it will just say generally that the objective is either above or below you with that little arrow. So that's kind of a handy way to learn to navigate your way around the map. Alright, we're going to push forward and we're going to look to set up our first little abode, our starter base if you will. Not too far, so 400 meters still. We don't have to be, as I said, right on top of it. But we want to be kind of within reasonable running distance and duration. The reason is because you're going to go back and forth with that trade station a few times for different contracts and things that you want to resolve. And it's just going to... It's going to pay dividends in terms of the amount of time spent. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be, you know, rushing through the content, rushing through the game or anything like that. It's just kind of common sense. If you're having to visit a place fairly frequently, being within reasonable touching distance of it will enhance your experience overall. Let's go up here. I'm trying to get another view of it from up on high. Let's see, we can hydrate again because we're just dropping down a little bit. Nice. Dew limit reached. Okay. And don't worry, this whole water thing, as I said, at the beginning of the game, dealing with the whole hydration and water is a bit of a pain. Ah, look, magnificent. This is a great spot that we've reached. Okay. So here we can see Griffin's Reach. Anyway, just to finish that final thought on the water. The water will feel a bit of a pain early game. My advice is build within reasonable running distance of Griffin's Reach. Here we're very, very close to it right now. We can go and complete that first contract if we wanted to. But if you're really in a hurry, or you want to get your first house down or whatever, my advice is, now currently the map is a lot of fog of war, so you could spawn in anywhere along there. Oh, here's a good example. The weather's coming in. So we have a weather warning that there's a sandstorm due in 1 minute. As I said, the sandstorms are very violent in this game. You do not want to get caught in them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way up to Griffin's Reach, and when the storm kicks in, something fun will happen. They will seal up Griffin's Reach to protect everybody and everything inside. Here we go. We have reached the trading post, and rather than get into any of the other dialogues right away, I think we can end this segment. I was quite lucky with where I spawned. I wasn't too far away from Griffin's Reach. You can, in some cases, when we look at the map, you may have spawned in quite a way over here. You can actually see the storm blowing in over here, which is a very cool effect. So we're going to make sure that we're inside. There's the storm coming in the distance. You will hear this alarm sound, and they will literally close the doors to protect Griffin's Reach. And we are, again, if I press T, you can see here, we are fully enclosed within this building. We're completely safe, and they're closing the doors as well. And there we go. Alright, I think this is probably a good spot to end part 1, and encourage you, if you've enjoyed this one, to click the old thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to encourage me to make more such content, and hopefully you've enjoyed it and benefited from watching this. Part 2 will be along very shortly. I'll try and put this out as like a 1, 2, 3 starter pack, and yeah, we will continue by building our first sub-thief. We will look for a little spot somewhere not too far from here, and we will talk about the next steps, and you'll see the benefits of building in this area. Good vibes, folks. Hope you enjoyed part 1. See you in the next one.